Hey guys, how are we doing today? Welcome to Room Guruji. So on a lot of the videos, a few people commented that the looks were getting too dark and the black background was a bit dull. So here we are, a bit more colorful, a bit more bright. And today's video is all about the Mi11x. Now this is a long-term review video and this is a no-nonsense video. I'm not going to keep you showing you B-rolls of all the software, the looks of MIUI 12.5. You know how MIUI 12.5 looks. Right now, at least 30 to 40 videos exist that will tell you how MIUI 12.5 looks. Today, I'm going to talk about my experience, the changes that I faced from the time that I bought the phone to till now, what is the build quality experience that I've got and everything else. So stay tuned. If you're thinking of buying, this will be very important and this is a no nonsense video, so I'll be very quick. Let's get started. Now talking about this phone specifically, I bought it at 32,000 from a local MI retail store. If you want to do that to mi.local.com would be probably the best way to do it. Now if you're buying from Amazon, you're going to get it much cheaper, but I got it for 32,000 and that's how I'm going to judge this. So when I actually got it, I got it for 32,000 and it was micro lagging, right? There were micro lags and stutters and I did not expect that from a 32,000 phone, right? So a lot of people had told me that 12.5 is going to improve it. So the first thing I did was apply for bootloader unlocking, get my bootloader unlocked and run away from the stock ROM. But then the 12.5 update came and I came back to the stock ROM. And bro, it changed everything. Whether it was the smoothness, whether it was the experience, everything changed. Okay, there were no micro lags, no stutters, no issues when it comes to lags, and that is something that is crazy for me. Okay, because just one update changed so much that it was crazy. Now even with this update, there are a few things that need to be polished off. See, it is a flagship at the end of the day. If you call it a flagship, it needs to be as polished as a flagship. And I'm not going to judge it any less. So, given the fact that it's extremely smooth right now and there are no micro lags or stutters in MIUI 12.5, there are still some bugs that Xiaomi needs to take care of. Also, there are some promises that Xiaomi hasn't completed. The first thing when it comes to bugs is, when you go to any apps that are in your video toolbox and you've switched on the HDR mode where your SDR content is changed to HDR, you get this extreme yellow tint that then you need to manually go and change it to a little normalish. So it's known that whenever you want to change the content to HDR, you kind of need to make it a bit more saturated, but this is too much saturation, so there needs to be a control, right? From control, let's come to the thermal throttling algorithms. So what happens is, the 870 is a pretty powerful chip and it heats up too. Now Xiaomi, given the fact that they launched this phone in other countries where the country's temperatures, the ambient temperatures are much lower, when they came to India, they wanted to rethink that strategy because the same type of temperatures don't exist in India. Indian temperatures are pretty hot, right? So in that scenario, what Xiaomi did was it gave a knee-jerk reaction and it has some really aggressive thermal throttling algorithms which Xiaomi does need to improve. So if someone from Xiaomi is watching this, guys, you do need to improve this, you can do better. So yes, the custom ROMs is something that I'll discuss in the end because that's not for a very normal user as such, but it is important, right? After that, the camera. Yes, the camera has improved by a slight margin. Your selfies are much better, your video quality is actually pretty good, and something that I liked about the video quality in all of this time that I have used this phone is that the mic in behind that actually captures audio so well that you have a very crisp and clear audio, which is not something that you observe when you're using mobile phones for your recordings, right? Other than that, we also have the fact that the screen is actually pretty beautiful, but it is not properly used. Now let me talk about this. So what happened, people earlier were facing green tint issue. So Xiaomi said, okay fine, we'll fix green tint issue. Now in the process of fixing the green tint issue, they introduced something known as black crush. Now don't be worried, your screens are not destroyed yet and it is not a big problem. I'll tell you what black crush is. When you actually start watching HDR content, your blacks start getting killed off. That means there is too much shadows. That means you can't really get very bright contents and your shadows will be killed. Now, this is a basic optimization and color science thing. It has nothing to do with your screen. Your screen can be actually, Xiaomi can just send an update and fix it. And they would probably do it, right? Because they're working on another patch. Now, what is that patch for? And that brings us to another problem that we have in this phone. That is the proximity sensor. Now, surprisingly, a lot of people think that there is no proximity sensor in this device. Actually, that's not true. Now, I'll tell you why I've removed this cover. Okay, so on the top of the device you do have an ultrasonic proximity sensor, and now the issue with this is this ultrasonic proximity sensor wakes up because of the accelerometer, right? Now that we have this basic thing clear, what does this mean for you? Well, to put it simply, right, the ultrasonic sensor uses up way too much battery, right? And if you actually keep it on the whole time, you're not going to get a lot of screen on time. So what Xiaomi has done is they've included it with the accelerometer. Now let's say you're on a call, right? At the start of the call, your proximity sensor is working, but as soon as you keep on talking, the phone realizes, okay, this might waste a lot of battery. So what they do is they turn off the proximity sensor, switch on the accelerometer. Now based on your hand movement, it's going to wake up the proximity sensor. Now the issue is, if you put this case, right, and with their bad optimization of this proximity sensor, what happens is your proximity sensor is not going to correctly detect the position, and you're not going to get the use of the proximity sensor. So does the hardware have an issue? No. Does the optimization have an issue? Yes, the optimization does have an issue, and Xiaomi really needs to fix that, because this is a very small problem, but it's extremely pesky too, right? So now with that we come to the routing part, software part, and a final verdict part, right? As far as the routing goes, guys, you don't need root, you need bootloader unlocking, you need custom ROMs. Today we do not need root because it's kind of been made useless now by Google, but you do need custom ROMs, and I'll tell you why. So when I was using MIUI 12, I was irritated by the fact that okay, this is very smooth, but suddenly it would just become stuttery. Why? Because of the poor optimization, which they obviously fixed in MIUI 12.5. But till then, I use custom ROMs, and I can assure you, even if you've used MIUI 12.5, which is absolutely buttery, you use a AOSP ROM, you're not coming back because it's so smooth, it's so buttery, right? And that is why you do need custom ROMs. Another reason why you need custom ROMs, and a lot of people will tell me, okay, normal users don't use custom ROMs. I agree, normal users don't use custom ROMs. But what happens when your company stops providing you with updates, right? Then what do? Then you look at custom ROMs, because they are the way in which you can keep supporting your phone, in which you can keep updating your phone. For a simple example, look at OnePlus 60. OnePlus 60 is not getting any trustworthy updates from OnePlus, but the custom ROMs development is going so good that they are currently using Android 11 very easily, very smoothly, without any issues. So yes, and for all those people who are worried about privacy and integrity in custom ROMs, it is actually updated with the latest security patches always. The developers make it a point to include all of this. But if you use modded apps, you're going to have an issue. So the very simple fact that modded apps in themselves have spywares and other things that can even affect you on your stock ROM, right? The only thing with that bootloader unlocking does is it gives you more advantage and more freedom that, if not used correctly, can damage your phone. So these are the things you do need to remember. That's all for this video, guys. If you did like the video, please like, share and subscribe. This was supposed to be a no-nonsense video. That's why I did not have any B-rolls. If you want to watch the full review in which I tell you about the hardware, about the software, about this and that, I will put down some links in the I button. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. This is Rom Guruji signing off.